So I'm a graduate of the Textile Studies program, and I graduated in 2011, and I majored in surface embellishment and print and dye. After I graduated, I did re-enroll for a third year so I could focus on weaving, and we also made my own kind of program where we took the craft fair project and we expanded it to do a whole line. And I had my very own booth at the craft fair for the first time. So after I left school, I was accepted to have a studio at the plantation, and I was one of the first people. I was there for 4 years. So the plantation was a great bridging program from school to working in the craft sector. While there, here's my first studio, then turned into Renee's studio. While there, I got to work with a lot of other emerging craftspeople, and that was one of the most valuable things. You got to see the way that they developed their businesses and how their products changed over time and how it grew. I was also exposed to people working in different mediums. So this is Graham, and he's coating one of his blocks. I would never have gotten to know him or his process if I wasn't at the plant. At the plant, it was also really important. It was really important to look after each other. Because you're starting out, you can't necessarily do it full-time right away. So you often have to have a part-time job. And so when I was not there working my part-time job, everybody else would be in charge of selling my work for me. And when they weren't there, I was in charge of selling their work for them. So I got experience in their process and their story and their inspiration, which helped me later on. The plantation also helped you go to conferences and they gave you workshops, and they helped me go to the fiber conference this past October in Gros Morne. And while I was there, during the very first industry day, I sat next to Ruth Weller, who at the time was working for Bonavista Creative. She encouraged me to come to Bonavista. She said they might have a commercial space available. Come out and see what's going on. So I did, and I met with John Norman, the COO, and looked at the building that they had available, and it was gorgeous, and I wanted it. And this is what they're doing. So Bonavista Creative is working to revitalize the downtown core in Bonavista, and they've been taking vacant commercial buildings and restoring them and making them beautiful and useful again. This is not my building, this is Boreal Diner down the street. So once I decided that I wanted to move to Bonavista, I had to figure out how I was going to do it. So I came back and I met with Chelsea Patterson at the YMCA, and we worked together for 6 months to write my business plan. And with her help, I got a loan from Futurepreneur. And Futurepreneur is a nonprofit organization in Canada that helps young entrepreneurs get financing to start their business. So once all that paperwork was all taken care of, I came back and I packed up my studio. That's everything in my studio on the sidewalk, and we loaded it all up in the van and moved to Bonavista to open my shop, Treeline. I decided to have a retail shop. I had so much experience selling everybody else at the plant's work, and I also have a lot of retail experience in my life. Ever since I was in high school, I've had some kind of part-time job, and they've all pretty much been working for small companies downtown St. John's. So this is my building. They had to hoist it up, move it back from the road, but they did a fantastic job. So this is inside my shop. It originally was a dry goods store, and so they kind of fixed it all up like it would have been back in the day. It was really important to me to be able to work on site. The time at the plantation taught me that the more people see you working, the more value that they put to to your craft, and the more that they're educated, the more they're willing to pay the price it should be. But I couldn't fill the store with only my stuff. I couldn't produce it myself, and you kind of want a variety. Not everybody's into brightly colored jersey scarves or hand-woven things. So it was obvious to me that I would ask everybody that I've met at the plant if I could sell their work. I knew their products, it was fine quality, and it all kind of fits together. What else we got? I also have some visual art from people that I know and local artists. So these are the 3 different ceramic artists. They're all completely different. They all kind of fill a little void, and it's they kind of round it out. Also, price points. So when you have a retail shop, it's really important to hit all the different price points. This is a beautiful Susan Stevens necklace, but it's $300, so that's not going to be for everyone. So you want to have something that is in a lower price point that people can buy multiple of to bring home to give as gifts. These are Running the Goat books. What was I going to say about this? So right now, I have 17 different craftspeople's work. I've finished my first year, and I have figured out that there are some holes, and I need probably next year another 5 or 6, and that will work better. So why did I pick Bonavista? Besides John Norman's Grand Seduction Tour, Bonavista, for me, it wasn't scary because I spent so much time on the peninsula as a kid, so we have family friends there, so there's a bit of a safety net. It's also not that far away. It's 3.5 hours, and so that makes it easy if I do need to come to town or if I need to get supplies. There's 3 different buses that go in and out every day, so you can get things shipped to your door for not very much money. It's also good because your mom and friends will come visit on weekends. As I said, I always worked in retail, and if I was going to open my own shop, I would do it downtown, St. John's, but I probably couldn't afford the rent. The rent in commercial space is huge, and compared to Bonavista, it was a no-brainer for me. Also, there's a lot of competition in St. John's. You have the Craft Council, the Plant, Alexis, and in Bonavista there's 2 other craft shops. Also, it's a real town. It has a fish plant, a movie theater, a high school, a hospital, a college, and so there's people working there and living there all year round. And there's also lots to do. In the summer, the Garrick Theatre has music 3 or 4 times a week, and they show commercial movies and they show local movies, so there's always something going on. For tourists, it has 2 major tourist attractions. It has the provincial lighthouse, and it has the national historic site, the Ryan premises, so that draws in a lot of people. Last year, the lighthouse saw 55,000 people visit the site, and my shop is on direct route to the site and on the way back. Bonavista is also really good because there's room to grow. There's with the Chamber of Commerce and working with Bonavista Creative, they really want you to expand your business and grow. And so now in October, we are going to go to PEI, and we're going to go and visit Belfast Mini Mills, and they are a company that produce small-scale fiber mill equipment. So we'll be able to process your cute little alpaca into usable wool, as well as sheep and all of the animals. So we'll be able to process fiber for farmers, and if they wanted to buy it back, or process it for them, or we could buy their fiber and either sell the yarn or roving, or use it to make goods that we could export or sell in our shop. This is the building. It doesn't look like much now, but once Bonavista Creative sprinkles their pixie dust, it will be gorgeous. So you can see the main entrance, and it will have 2 giant windows, and it'll have retail space. And on this side will be kind of processing, and there's a huge barn in the back that somehow they can move and connect. So that would be good. And upstairs in the building, there's this giant open room that would be great for teaching classes. So we could have guest people or a residency. Like, there's so many ideas. It's also on a huge plot of land, so we could have a dye garden where we could grow our own plants to use in the processing of our wool. So that's it.